Boys and girls, welcome to Club Evil. I'm Evil Dick.
Evil Dick! Evil.
You're a devil in disguise is what you are. You're burning me on purpose.
That's what I'm saying. Why do they think that God gives a crap about what goes on in that house? And why do they think that he's going to part the Red Sea for them to the promised land? Didn't you watch last season? What they did show last season was me in the diary room praying to my God, Fred.
Like some young, tiny, small spaces. Evil Dick. These little gooey telltale.
Hey, you're taking the cameras off of me.
Evil Dick.
And welcome back to another Dick at Night on our TV Zone. Thank you for subscribing, everyone. I haven't told you this in quite a while, but I do want to thank you for subscribing and listening to all my bullshit week after week after week. We had Ronnie canceled out on me again. I'm going to have to kick his nerdy ass. He forgot about his parent-teacher meetings. Could you imagine Ronnie as your teacher in school? He would just be such an asshole. And I'm just saying. And what we have tonight, I wanted to get Libra on last year, and for some reason or another, it didn't happen. So we've got her on tonight. We have just a one-on-one. She's telling her kids to be quiet. Shh, I'm online. Shh, I'm online. Is she done going to the bathroom? She can say hello. She can
Shut the door. Hello. Okay, yes. It's one of my many children.
How many do you have?
Actually, I have three, just three. So the twins, when I was on the show, they were 4 months, and I got a lot of crap for that.
Right. You know what? Yeah, and we could talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that right off the bat, because I know you took a lot of crap for that. And here we are this season, and the producers go after two. I can't even say. I have to do air quotes, which is gay to start with, but. Coaches, because the whole coach thing was a fake twist. It was bullshit. But they go after two returning players who both have babies, like under 9 months old. Both Boogie and Janelle.
Well, you know, but the funny thing about it is that they pretty much gave Janelle more flack than Boogie. Obviously, it is definitely a sexist kind of, you know what I mean, thing. So people are going to see the more traditional role of the mother, and, you know, it's okay for the father. But, you know, Janelle was in it to win it and make money for her family, just as Boogie, and so was I. But you get a lot of people that are very judgmental. My 4-month-old children, they didn't remember when I left, and they aren't, you know, hurt by me going.
They're
and
not damaged.
So they're not damaged. And if you ask them what Big Brother, or did you remember when Mommy was on Big Brother when you were 4 months, it's pretty hysterical. So, but, you know, you always have those people that want to, you know, pick you apart. That's what it's for, you know.
They want to villainize you for leaving your children and all of this shit. And you left your children with your mother. Am I wrong?
My mother, she's retired, and my husband, who's very well equipped, he's present. He's definitely a hands-on dad.
I don't care how well equipped your husband is. That's not what we're talking about here.
Not like that, Dick. You know what I mean? He's a good guy. He knows how to handle his kids. I wasn't in this alone, so he stepped up and was a father while I was gone. I mean, I'm sorry for those who, you know, don't have that opportunity or situation, but fortunately for me, I did. So, and I definitely jumped on it.
And I think that, you know, I wanted to bring this up. When you said that, it reminded me, because I had forgotten about it. But Janelle took a lot of shit.
Yes.
And, you know, June actually gave Janelle a lot of shit online. But I think that June brings up a good point, that it was fucked of the network to dangle that carrot in front of two people that have brand new babies when they have, you know, about 100 past house guests. Yes, I understand what they were going for. They want ratings. They want, you know, both Boogie and Janelle hadn't been, but they're both, well, Janelle's hugely popular. Boogie just really annoys people, I think. I'll be talking to Boogie next week, actually. I'm going to have like a one-on-one two-parter with him. But I thought it was very unfair and very insensitive of CBS and the producers, but they do things like that without regard for people in their lives. They just don't care.
Well, you know what though? But we signed a dotted line. We signed those contracts. We know what we're getting into. This is my issue with it all. If your family is fine with it, if Janelle's husband and her, they sat down and they spoke about it, just as Scott and I did, and I'm sure Boogie and his significant other, if everybody is on board with that, then that's where it should stay. It shouldn't be, you don't know how, are you going to come pay my light bill? I mean, you don't know how things work in the background for us here. And so for you to judge, it's one thing, but people have all different circumstances. And so it's really interesting to see how people could say what they would do and this and that and the third, and then they're presented with that same challenge, and they
I absolutely agree with you. It's easy to sit on the sidelines, especially those 800-pound crazy cat ladies, and sit there behind the keyboard, plucking away, going, what a fucking bitch. How could she leave her kids? Blah 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 blah. But yet, if their fat ass was offered the same opportunity, they would be off of that couch quicker than if their daughter brought a box of Twinkies home for them.
Off the couch, their asses would be on their easy roller, rolling their ass to the studio lots at CBS. I don't know if they'd be able to walk, but, they'd be there, believe me.
I absolutely and completely agree with you, 100%. Like I said, I think that, CBS is very insensitive when it comes to family matters. Even when I went back, going back to season 5. Season 5, I was a finalist. I know you're a big fan of the show. You've watched...
Right.
Like all the seasons?
I've watched since season 1. I watched when Big Brother was in a trailer. It wasn't even the house that's on the lot, so I was there all along the way, and I've been there ever since.
Well, since season 5 is when they did the Project DNA, when they had the twins twist, they had, there was something else, and then they had Nokomis and Cowboy, which they revealed Nokomis' father as being a cheater on national television. By the way, you have a son you don't know about. Dun, 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 dun. And I thought that was really kind of fucked of them to do. And then they did it to me with my fucked up relationship with my daughter. And they didn't do it just once, but, they relish in it, and they did it twice. And that will be the last time that they do it, because I will never be doing Big Brother again with my daughter, ever. And, I've made that very, very clear to everybody concerned. I don't give a fuck how much money they wave in front of me. If she's in there, if they lie to me and they invite me back and she's in there, those red buttons? I'm going to push one and I'm getting the fuck out of there. And I'll tell them, fuck you, I'm out of here. I made it really clear to you, I'm not doing this. Bye. So that won't happen again. But
well, I need to say a side note, I know family matters are definitely very sticky, and whatever works for your family, go for it. Janelle, Boogie, more power to you. Hopefully it was what you expected, and if not, you gave it a good run. In terms of you and Danny, I love Danny. I like you. I think that, you're a cool cat. You say it how you mean it. You mean what you say. It is what it is, and I can respect that. And for nothing else, I think that deep down, y'all are both very strong-minded individuals, and it's all going to work out.
You just don't like each other. And every family doesn't have to like every member of your family.
But that's okay. You don't like each other, but it's always tomorrow. So you might like each other tomorrow, or the next day, you never know. I just never say never. So, but both of you guys are great people, and y'all bring so much to the table, and it's unfortunate, but just as she is a hoot, I think you're hysterical, and you know what? I bet you guys wouldn't have it any other way. I'd prefer you as who you are versus trying to mold yourself into somebody to please others. So at least you know where you are in life and who you are. So good for that.
Hold on 1 second. Hey, Phoenix, can you cut just for a second? Okay, Libra, introduce your daughter.
This is Sally.
This is one of the
hi,
twins,
Hallie.
right?
Hi.
Hi, Hallie.
Yes, that's one of the twins. And Cullen, he is somewhere. She was saying hi. Cullen, where are you?
I'm behind the scenes.
Oh, well, come here, buddy. Let's everybody say hi to you.
No.
I like how it's
Okay,
all Hollywood.
well, maybe
I'm behind the scenes.
Mom,
Yeah, he's the cutest thing ever. Well, if you don't want to be on the TV, that's fine. Yeah, he's camera shy. But yeah, so it's been a great adventure. The twins are 4. I still watch Big Brother every day, every chance I get. I'm a part of the family, and it's a cool experience. Insofar as this season's concerned, I think that it started off kind of slow, and then as the twists they hit the reset button, that's when it really got exciting. Oh, here's Cullen.
Hi.
Hey, there he is. What's up?
Who's that?
Say hi, Cullen. Say hi, Evil Dick.
No.
He said no.
It's gonna be
Okay, well,
TV.
you guys go. So, okay, look, I'm going to let you hear him, and I want you to say hi, okay? All right. Well,
I want to do it.
okay, Hallie will do it.
Hello, how are you? Are you having fun?
Say
Say
yes.
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 There's going to be a lot of people.
Tell
that
them
see your
how
pretty
old you
face
are.
tonight.
4.
Say, I'm 4.
Do you start
I'm
school
4.
next year or this year?
Next year she goes to the big school.
We're going
So-
kindergarten.
Oh, Cullen, since we're going to kindergarten, so
I want
anyway,
to be on TV.
I love you. I know you do. But let Mommy finish this interview, okay?
Okay.
All righty.
Bye, Mommy.
So that's my world right there. And I'll tell you one thing. That's the number one reason why I did it. The number one reason
You got
for my
2
kids.
really cute kids. And I think
Thanks.
that would be the way to have twins, is not identical twins. I mean, nothing against identical twins, but everyone wants to feel as an individual. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a twin,
and
so I
then
don't
you
know.
as a boy-girl twin, that is the case, but then it happens for me, like this next year, I have to do a sweet and sassy party and then a pirate party. So I have like a birthday weekend because they don't want to do their birthday parties together anymore. So that's not
So
cool.
they don't even
That's
wanna
some
share.
bullshit.
Yeah, they
No.
don't want to share.
They're
birthday,
like-
so you got to have one and the next.
So
Yeah,
that's my new
would
world.
suck.
But so would you go back in without Danny?
It depends. It depends on
Okay.
what the situation is, where I'm at in my life. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on in the next month for me. I'm
Wow.
shooting 10 episodes of a show I'm going to be hosting for E. I'm going to be shooting a pilot for a completely different show the same time I'm in LA, and I'm going to have it's going to be a very small part in hopefully a big movie. And this is all happening in the next 2 months. So I got a lot of stuff.
Well, there
going
you
on.
go.
Hopefully I'll be, one of these 2 shows will take off. I think the one I'm shooting with the 10 episodes has a very good chance. So,
Well, cool.
we actually supposed to be following Chelsea Lately on E, half-an-hour show. And if that goes, I'll probably be done with Big Brother, to be honest with you. The only reason I go back is
I mean, some people use it as a platform. It's not, many people that leave Big Brother. There are not many of us that actually get an opportunity. So I say go for whatever you can get,
Yeah. There's not very many people that really do. I mean, the QVC, I interviewed Dr. Will, and he brought up that the Big Brother All-Stars opened the door for him for the QVC, where he does his dermatology, like cream or some kind
Like
of shit.
his-
himself on
okay.
QVC, and he's making a fortune. He's been doing it for a couple of years now. So, good for him. I like Dr. Will. He's a great guy. Great play. We're going to be talking about Dr. Will, and everybody's the comparison with Dr. Will and Dan. Let's get into it here. Let's hit the episode. We have a lot to talk about, and not very much time to do it. So, the veto competition. I like these veto competitions. I like how bad you want it. How bad do you want it? Are you willing to go on slop for the rest of the summer? Are you willing to, some of this stuff was stupid. Have people throw paint on you, who gives a shit? To roll around in avocados really, who cares? If you're in there for the money, of course you're gonna. I would roll around in dog shit to win a veto when I needed to win it, right? So
absolutely,
all of these things. In my season, they did a competition like this, and one of the legs of the competition was, would you be willing to give up half the money if you win? So if you won the show, you would only win $250,000. And Jen said yes, and Jen ended up winning that POV because she was willing to give up half the money. Where I'm sitting on the sideline going, you're never going to win anyway, but that's how bad you want, you know? And we have,
and I think that these different competitions are excellent to see it's kind of like a litmus test of what you would do as a player. And it kind of gives in my opinion, it would give me as a player in the house kind of a little insight as to who's really playing this game. Like who's really in it to win it.
Who really thinks that they're safe? Who overly thinks they're safe by not willing to do anything? And we really only had how many players actually played this game? Frank was playing the game. Britney was, yelling out some answers, even if she was wrong or whatever. But Frank, Jen, and Britney and Dan. There was only, I don't even know who the other two people in the game were. Who were they? Was Joe
Danielle
in the game?
And Shane. It was Danielle and
Shane. And they never chimed in once. Are they that stupid, or they just feel they're so safe?
Well, Danielle did chime in on the spots, and she was the one that got the paint thrown on her. But my thing is this: she did chime in once. I think that, to be quite honest with you, it's down to the wire, and you have to scrimp and scrape for every little advantage that you can get. And I honestly feel like Frank, I have got to give it to him. He's playing a game very similar to your own. There's no comparison to what you did with regards to the fact that you just told everybody fuck you and kept it moving. But for Frank, he's having to win time and time, week after week. He is never in that house chilly-willy. But the flip side of Frank is that you kind of like him. You can kind of like Frank. He can make you, he can yell at you, and then at the next minute, somebody hug that girl. So I don't know. I'm rooting for Frank. I really am. And I know that he kind of sold his stuff to the devil with Dan.
I think that most people are, and that's why you have a lot of things kind of being a little bent towards Frank with the competition and so on and so forth. But, there was one point I wanted to bring up. It's down in my notes here. Well, we're going to end up getting to it, but you kind of touched on it.
That people aren't really playing.
If you could just push the mute button, push your microphone just for a second, and then unclick it, we'll get rid of that weird kind of hollow noise.
Okay.
You see that little microphone icon?
I do, but I don't see where I see where it can increase or decrease.
Just click right on top of the microphone, and it should have a red line through it or something, and then unclick it, and you should be good.
Okay. I did it.
See?
Is that better?
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so in the beginning of this veto competition, they said no assisting, but they always give you rules and shit like that. You never hear that on television, but usually there's one idiot that's like, in my season it was, hello?
Uh-oh.
It's okay. Dr. Will.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Hey, Cal. Hey. What's up? I'm interviewing with Evil Dick right now on a TV show. I really am on a TV show with Evil Dick. Can I call you back? You called me? Aw. Okay, sweet. All right, bye. Okay. She's a fan of yours, by the way, so we'll have to touch base later. But
yeah, you have to tell her I said hi.
I will. We were talking about the competitions and Frank, and now where are we?
no assisting. They lay down the rules.
Right.
And I was saying that there's always, I don't know about your season, but my season it was Jamaica, and every motherfucking competition, she would say, well, hold on. I don't understand this. And it was like literally like 10 minutes explaining one thing to her. And everybody's sitting there going, let's fucking get on with it. I'm going to kill her. You know, and it was just like, but hold on. I'm not sure. And it was just like, oh, my God, we're going to kill her. But,
we didn't have that. We didn't have that during our season. But what we did have, Dick, was we had people helping other people. Oh, get the ball. It's over there. Go over here. Go over there.
Yeah.
They did that during the what's that Taco Bueno challenge where they had to match all the Mexican dishes or whatever. They were helping people find shit. So why now is it, oh, if he whispers an answer, it's okay. But when it's another type of competition, it's let's shut it down.
And I felt exactly the same. Them disqualifying Frank was giving Dan even more of an edge to get the veto.
Right.
So I don't really give a fuck what anybody says. That's the truth. And I think that if it was Jen that was on the block and about to go home, you wouldn't have seen Frank disqualified for that whatsoever. But they didn't want Dan gone. So that's what that is all about. And,
and we've been on the show.
This season has been so manipulated by the producers. You know, you were talking about the reset button, and I've been bitching about it. This season has just been such a crock of horse shit for me because that reset week was the week that Frank should have been blindsided.
It was. He
would have
was.
been one of the greatest blindsides in the history of the show. And, they're just like, oh, there's no eviction tonight because we don't want Boogie to be in trouble by Frank going home. And everybody really likes Frank. So,
But they did the same thing. They did the same thing for Jeff and Jordan. The power of veto.
Absolutely.
Oh, the golden veto. Here we go. We know Jeff has got a ticket with his ass on it all the way home. And we're going to do a coup d'etat. And by golly, look at there. So these producers and people ask me all the time, like, so is it really real? I'm like, as real as you want it to be, because the producers have so much leeway, and expect the unexpected means I can put as much bullshit in here as I want. I can take out what I need, and I can change. Exactly.
That's right. They're going to keep the people in there. They don't give a fuck who wins. They don't care. It makes no difference to them. All they care about is the ratings because they want to keep the show going for as many years as possible. And if the show doesn't make money, they're going to be looking for a job. So they have a cash cow that they don't want to lose. So they're going to keep the ratings going, and they're going to keep the people. They're going to do what they can to kind of favor the people that are getting them ratings that people like. And that was, one of the reasons that, the season with Jesse and you got Jeff and Jordan. Anyhow, let's go back to this season. We have Frank whispering to Britney, California, or whatever it was that he said, and he's eliminated, disqualified from the competition. And, so we have Jen's left and Dan's left, and they wanted Dan to win the veto. Now, I was going to I'm going to wait just a minute to bring up the whole Dr. Will thing, and we'll get into it. Some of the things that Dan, by getting the 24 hours of solitary, couldn't have picked a better punishment because this gave him time to come up with this elaborate plan of how to save himself in the game, where would he have been able to, devise this gigantic scenario in his head had he been out with, everybody bugging him constantly, and how it is in the house where you're like never alone. People are always trying to talk to you. Right. So
honestly, I have the great memory of playing with Dan on my season, and I agree with you in that the producers just like Dan. So they're going to beef it up and make him seem like he is the biggest mastermind ever. They're going to cut his clips on him beefing up himself and bigging himself up about how amazing and wonderful he is and insightful and smart and intelligent and, I'm the best at this. I know, that's great. My only problem with that is that honestly feel like a lot of Dan's things are in the right place at the right time. And his best quality is that he knows when to strike. Whereas sometimes he doesn't get heated in a moment. He kind of simmers on it, and then he figures out how to dissect and maneuver and all of that. That's what helps Dan out the most. But in terms of him being as masterful as the producers make him out to be, I was in the house with him, and maybe I was, under a sheet as well. I will say he knows how to play gimp. He knows how to play like he's just such a little, little bird, and he's so weak.
Crying. How many times in this episode did we see Dan cry? And I'm sitting here going, we'll get into the speech right now. The whole speech.
The funeral speech?
Dan's funeral. Let me tell you, you're bringing up a good point, and I'm telling you something that I know for a fact. The producers have not been in Dan's corner. They have not. They've been very disappointed with Dan so far this season. He's been nothing up until this point. This is what they've been waiting for. And don't kid yourself, when they, starting last week, was it last week? No, it was the week before, because Boogie went last week. It was the week before, when the diary room, Dan said in the diary room, they had 100 clips of him saying, well, I don't want Frank to backdoor me. Well, he could backdoor me. I might get backdoored. He said backdoored, and they had clips of him saying backdoored at least 100 times. So you know that the people talking to him in the diary room are like, Dan, aren't you worried about Frank backdooring you? Don't you think that Boogie and Frank are thinking about backdooring? Like over and over and over and over and drilling it into his head that this alliance that he had isn't sound. They're trying to backdoor you, Dan. So talk about it. So that's what was going on there. And
they do a lot of that. I mean, when you're in the house, that's what they do. They you could be great with your alliance. You're just trucking along, and they'll come in and they go, "Oh, Libra, you're in an alliance with April, Ollie, and Keisha. Well, they've been upstairs talking for 5 hours. How do you feel about that?" Hell yeah, you're coming out of there guns a-blazing. So that's the kind of manipulation that people don't get to see, but it does happen. And that's the kind of stuff that they say in the diary room, and it gets you to thinking things that you probably wouldn't think.
When I came out, they were trying to plant some shit in my head about Eric and Jessica. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you say. Our alliance is solid. And I went directly out of the diary room, directly over to Eric and Jessica, and I said, I don't give a fuck what they tell you in the diary room. I am loyal to you guys. So don't let them put any kind of shit in your head. Then it's like, Dick, no talking about your DVD.
Please do not talk about production.
And I kept on saying, don't listen to them. Don't listen. Don't listen. I'm telling you right now, it's solid because they're doing that shit to me. And they're yelling at me over the speakers, but I didn't give a fuck. I never played into that game, and I never liked it.
But that's what they do. That's a lot of that's where they are trying to create the drama. Yeah, they want the sound bites and they want the drama.
They want you to go, well, Eric and Jessica could be turning against me, so maybe I better be thinking that they might backdoor me or they're trying to get me out or, to put that paranoia in your head and all of that shit. So, I don't know. How did you like Jen going, me taking slop for the rest of the time here just proves that I'm a player?
Well, you know what? Jen, I didn't even know, was she under a rock?
Was on the show.
Was she on the show? Did she sleep in the storage room? Like, where the fuck has she been the whole time? All of a sudden, Jen City is now a player to be, reckoned with. You know what I mean? And I'm like, where did this chick come from? She would just mill around in the background, nothing said, nothing done, doing nothing. And then all of a sudden, she's, playing with the big dogs, Same thing for Joe. Joe is pulling a Rennie from my season. Rennie sat in the kitchen and cooked every day. Oh, what you want? A hot dog? You want chili with that? You want cheese? Oh, let me make this great tilapia. You want the turkey burger? All he's doing is cooking and sitting his ass right in that damn house. It wouldn't surprise me if he wins. It's hysterical, but it would not surprise me.
Well, Joe, I think it's Joe's getting a lot of flack. He's going to be very surprised when he gets out of the house, but because he's getting a lot of flack for his food handling
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Food
where he
handling,
doesn't
not
wash
washing his hands. That's
the
nasty.
other night he was like rubbing some shit on the spices on the pork, and then he takes the stuff that stuck to his hand after the pork, which pork is dangerous. You have to like be careful. And he wipes it back into the container, the spices.
Mommy, can I talk to you?
So he's taking a lot of flack.
Yeah, he is.
Mommy, look.
Oh, thank you. Well, my kid, now Dick Cullen wants to talk, and he has his the Lady Loves Me shirt on.
Oh, look at that.
So he thinks he's something.
Don't say that.
Yeah, he thinks he's something special, but good night. And I love you, okay?
Mommy, I want to talk to Leah.
Okay, what do you want to say?
Mommy, looky.
What do you want to say?
I'm just,
Want to say hi?
hi.
Yeah, tell him to move over so I can see him.
He's not talking to me.
Okay, say hi.
Hi.
He's not talking
How
to
are
me.
you? I guess I am. I'm talking to you.
He's
Tell
not
him,
talking to me.
tell him your name.
My name's Colin.
All right.
Hi,
Good
my
night,
name's
Cullen.
Dick.
He was not talking to me.
Yes, he is
I am
talking
talking
to you.
But
I'm talking to you. I'm talking
Oh,
to you, Colin.
he can't see you on the screen, so that's the problem. Okay, Hallie, good night. I love you guys. So, yes, I don't know. I think Joe, yes, his food handling skills are suspect. And another thing about Joe that I don't like is that he screams in the fucking diary room. And he's always
Everybody
talking
hates
about
that
how
about
he's a mastermind. You know, so that just drives me crazy.
These are the people that are just pawns in the game, and they don't even realize that they're pawns in a game. This is the problem that I had with Adam, Bacon Boy, from last year. He was a pawn the entire game. He was not a player worth a shit, but then he like constantly will say, well, it's how I got to the end. I came in third place. And I'm sitting there going, third place pays the same as last place.
Well, let me let you know this. That's the same thing. Jerry got to third place. He was 100 years old. I mean, how the fuck did we, you know what I mean?
I say that too. I say Sheila got to third
me?
place. Jerry got to third place. Look at all the horrible people that got to third place.
You know, and gosh, if I could get back in that house again, I'd just shut my fucking mouth a little bit and maybe sit around under a rock. And perhaps I can get the third place.
Or if you were like Jordan, you might get to first place.
That's a trip. That's a trip.
Okay, let's get back to this episode. Would you, I'm going to put it this way, would you have bought into that this is Dan's funeral, Dan the player's funeral speech?
I just said, Dan, get out of here with that shit. Now you coming up with a funeral speech? Nobody want to hear that. Get the fuck out of here. All you doing is...
Did these motherfuckers even see his season? They didn't even see his
apparently
season.
they slept on my season.
Full of shit.
Yeah, apparently they slept on my season. Because let it be known, if I were Britney and I'd seen his season, I said, Dan, we're not even having this conversation. We're not doing this bullshit. You're up on the block. Let's roll with it and keep it moving. You get what I'm saying? I'd be like, Dan, you're trying to start shit. I can feel it. And guess what? I'm not going to be a part of it. And I would have left and hopefully spurned others in the house to go out, get their coffee or whatever else. But, you know, it's like, for some reason, they were sleeping in season 10, and they're all like little sheep. They just do what they're told. Fuck you, man. Get in line. That's what I'd have told them. Get in line.
You're exactly right. I would have stood up and said, why don't we have a Russian roulette veto, motherfucker? I go, you think that you're going to pull this shit? Fuck you. You know?
Right.
And I could just see them in the diary room telling Dan, because the producers were so, and trust me when I tell you this, the producers were so unhappy with Dan and how he's done nothing up until this episode that I guarantee you in the diary room, they were saying, what happened to that Dan with the Russian roulette veto? That's the Dan that everyone wants to see. You know, because they would tell me that kind of shit in the diary room after I'd be banging pots and pans over after Dustin's head, and I had a quiet week after that. Then the diary room, they're like, so everybody wants to know what happened to that crazy dick. You know? And
right.
It's like, hey, motherfucker, I want to win this game. I can't be banging pots and pans over somebody said every goddamn week. You
right.
know? So,
but yeah,
I guarantee you that's what they told Dan.
I'm worried that, you know, and the thing is that I have people go, oh my God, did you realize how smart Dan was on your season? And only thing I realized as I was walking my ass out the door, of course, was that with my big ass mouth, you know, I was the one holding it down because Dan was such a sweet little lamb and he was being broken down by the masses, and I was going to protect him from Jerry after him being called a Judas, and oh my God. So he's very good at that, but in terms of being like this mastermind, I think they inject that from the production side of things to get him to kind of thinking about what he could do to make it masterful. But I think when you look at the game,
because Dan likes he likes to put on the show. When he's doing it, he wants to be putting on the show, like the Russian roulette veto, like this death of Dan, Dan's funeral, Dan the player's funeral.
And why were they sitting around watching it?
Anything away.
I just don't understand. Why would they sit there?
Why were they sitting there crying? How stupid are these people? The question is, would he be able to pull this shit on any real players?
I don't know, because I'm telling you, if I was Danielle and she would have said, "You're dead to me," bitch, you're dead to me. You're on the fucking block, and that's where you will stay. Believe me. That's what I would have said. So now I'm going to go get my coffee. You continue to have your funeral because you can just put yourself in your box because I got the nails for the coffin. We'd have been done. And who goes and cries? I'd have been like, well, get your fucking coffin ready, bitch. Bye. You know, and it would have been done.
When let's talk about crying, and let's go back. When Dan was sitting, and Dan really thought that he was going home, and he's in the diary room crying like a bitch. He was.
You know what? The deal is he doesn't know anything about sequester. He's an ex-winner, which that's another thing in my mind that I'm like, okay, people, here you are, you have one ex-winner in the house. To me, I'm thinking, he already had his chance at a little cash. Let's spread it around some of these new folk. So I wouldn't have, he'd have been gone a long time ago in my mind. So, but my point is that you've got Dan in that house who's already won. He's crying because he doesn't know what it's like to go to sequester. But I don't know. We'll see if he goes.
He doesn't know what it's like to lose. He doesn't know what it's like to lose. And Dan thinks he's the best player since Dr. Will.
Ever. No, I'm thinking after this season, he thinks he's better than Will. I'm sure of it. I'm sure.
Now, let me tell you my thoughts on Dan versus Dr. Will, because, there is, and everybody wants to, what do you think, Dick? What do you think, Dick? You're very outspoken. You've been a fan of the show for a really long time. What do you think? And this is what I think. What I think is Dr. Will did this every fucking week in season 2. Not just one time. And Dr. Will did this every fucking week in season 2 with no vetoes.
Right.
Dan, because the producers knew his ass was on the block, they all of a sudden, there's a Pandora's box. There's not just one veto for him to win. There's 2 vetoes that he has the opportunity to win. And there's also 2 idiots that he has the opportunity to do the Jedi mind trick on and get them to give up the vetoes for him. So he has not just one veto for him to win, but he couldn't win either one of them. So he had to come up with, this master plan. And it was a great plan. I'm not taking anything away from Dan.
I will not take the plan away from him.
It was a great move. So many people like Britney roll over and die on the block. But Dan came up with a plan, and he made it work. He pulled it off, and bravo! My hat's off to him. Libra, you need to mute real quick again. We got that weird noise. Okay. So my hat is off to him. I'm standing ovation. It was a great move. Was it the greatest move? Not in Big Brother history. No. Does this make him better than Dr. Will? Well, he hasn't won another season. Let me point out something else. Not just this great move this week. Dan got a 4-week, 5 eviction pass. So even if he does win, it's not gonna. It's not
to me, it's not, it doesn't sustain the fact that he didn't play a full season. He played a third of a season. You know what I mean? Or 2/3 of a season. He didn't play the full Monty. So he had some time to coast, to fill out people in the house.
It's even less than that, because Big Brother's like 10 weeks, and he got a 4-week pass. So, you know,
Right.
it's almost half a season pass. And 5
Right.
evictions because Jody was gone in the first episode. So, you know, I don't give a fuck what these people want to say. Oh, but he was a coach and he could have been gone, you know, if they would have voted out whoever, Danielle. That's bullshit, because if there was a plan to vote Danielle out and to get Dan out of the house, then the production would have come in and said, well, you know what? This is the week that we're going to let the coaches decide if they want to be back in the game. And they all know that they would be back in the game. So that's a bunch of bullshit. So as one of the – Dan is one of the great players, but he doesn't hold a candle to Dr. Will. I'm really sorry. And I'm a huge Dr. Will fan.
And I think he's a great player, yes. And I actually lived in a house with Dan, and I think his manipulation skills are, above par. They're excellent. I think in that department, he has a lot of people doing his dirty work, and they think that they're doing it for themselves. You know, he has a masterful way of talking you into something and making you believe that you came up with it. You get what I'm saying? So I have to give him kudos for that. But in terms of just being a fighter all the way through the game with a bullseye on his back and taking it each week like, you know, renegade, nope. He hung low, stood in the background, peeped behind trees.
Yeah,
you know, fuck, we can all do that shit. Let's do it then. You know, but in the trenches, no.
What he did that was really smart was he looked and he said, listen, look, Frank has no one. Frank's HOH, Frank has no one. Jen's along with him. Both of these two are like rudderless boats, you know, going around in a circle. They don't know what the fuck to do. So he makes a deal, goes up and makes a deal with Frank, which was a great move because he knew Frank was tight with Jen and convincing her to use the veto. It was a great move. If there was only one veto this week, Dan would have been fucked because Ian had the veto, and there's no fucking way that Ian was using that veto. Ian said it over and over and over. I'm not using the veto. I'm not using the veto. And Dan would have been going home. But Dan played it smart. And he aligned with Frank because Frank has nobody else. So what do you think about all of these motherfuckers swearing on the Bible, giving up their wedding rings? I'll give you my detachable penis just so you believe what I'm trying to tell you. I mean,
I'm going to be honest with you, though. And even Dan said it on the show. He meant it to Frank when he said, we're going to go 1 and 2. You know why? What Dan is lacking, Frank has. What Frank is lacking, Dan has. Now, mind you, he's kind of a lame duck right now with the fact that he can't play the next 2 HOHs. Is it 1 or 2? Is it 2?
They said that they said that there was another one. See, it should be 3. In my book, it should be 3 because he can't play the next HOH because he is HOH. Then in the competition,
so it worked out for him.
He had to give up an HOH. Then they penalized him an HOH with the disqualification. So it should be 3, but it is the next 2 that he will be missing. We're so close to the end of the game anyhow. So
and then he's going to have to end up playing anyways. Yeah. Well, so my thing is that Frank, I have to give it to Frank. I'm sorry. He's played his ass off. Regardless, I felt like Boogie was his Achilles heel. If Boogie wasn't in Frank's ear, Dan would have been gone a long time ago.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
Boogie was his Achilles heel. He has pissed. I mean, if Frank wouldn't have had Boogie and people wouldn't have been trying to target Boogie because they were just annoyed by his ass, Frank probably would have been in a much better predicament. So when all the shit went down and he's looking at Frank and the thing talking about, man, we should have put up Dan. No shit. So I think that Frank had to start realizing that he had to start playing for himself. Now that he is by himself, though, he's starting to figure out what way he can work it with regard to who he can establish rapport with and relationships with and try to keep himself in the house longer. And I think that, you know, Dan, don't put the Bible, we won't put his hand on the Bible too many times. He just, that's the one thing I can say.
You saw my season. Do you remember Amber? Do you remember Amber? They called her Whammer.
Yes.
Because she cried all the time.
Well, she cried all the time, yes.
You remember her swearing on the life of her daughter?
I wouldn't do that, but there are some people that don't care.
She did it all the time. And it was to the point where I went up to her and I go, I swear on the life of your daughter, I'm going to make you the most miserable bitch in this house. You know?
Oh, my God. Yeah, well, you know what? But he had pulled the.
I'll give you my wedding ring. I'll give you this.
But
either I believe you or I don't believe you. Don't give me this line of horse shit.
Yeah, and I agree, but at the same time, you know, I called him Father Dan my whole season because he used this whole, I'm at St. Mary's, I'm a teacher. Yeah. And I said, oh, Father Dan, you know. So that's the name I gave him, not to mention the fact that I knew he was America's player. But, you know, I always knew that Dan...
Dan's one of the biggest liars that's ever been in the house. Yeah. He's a
great liar.
And I wouldn't trust Dan. Dan, to me, is like... it's like listening to a used car salesman. It just really is. I don't buy a fucking thing that either one of them say. I would never buy a thing that either one of them say. And I would never trust a used car salesman or him.
Right. But I will tell you, I feel bad for Frank because he is kind of trustworthy. As you look through the season,
absolutely.
If he say he's going to do something, that's what he does. If he says he's not going to do it, he doesn't do it. And so I think that the minute he kind of maybe steps outside of his trustworthy comfort zone and tells a lie or two, that may help him save his ass. Who knows? But for right now...
I think that when it's going to take another week or two, and if Dan ends up in HOH, or with somebody maybe Danielle gets HOH, Frank's going to go home. Dan, I don't think that... Do you think that Dan can win against Frank?
No, they can't. I mean, I would be in the house going, you know what, Dan's won once before, and then also Frank played his ass off. You know what I mean? I would think of it like that in the house.
Didn't get a month-long pass. Exactly. And every time that he was not HOH, he was on the block.
That's right. And so that would be my thing with the jury, you know, and what I would pose it as. But I also feel like if they go 1 and 2, Dan, I mean, I don't see Dan in the number 2 spot. I just don't.
Dan will have Danielle's vote for sure. And
I think she kind of has a secret crush on Dan, just so you know.
You think?
A little bit of love for him. Like she said, I love you.
This was a mental case. Let's talk about, real quick, talk about this little love triangle between Dan and Shane that Danielle has. Where does Shane fit in this new secret alliance that Dan has with Danielle, with Jen, and with Frank? Where does Shane fit in? Is she going to fuck Shane over? Is Danielle going to fuck Shane over?
Yeah, you answered your own question. Where does he fit in? If you have to ask the question, then you know he don't fit any goddamn where. You know that Shane, bless his heart, I call him Blockhead because that's all it is up there is a block.
Wait a minute, I called him Blockhead from the beginning. That's
Are
so
you
funny
serious?
that you said,
oh my God, there's wood up there. What?
The beginning of the show, I got the little Gumby blockheads, and I would put a little picture up on Twitter. Yeah, the little red blockheads, I swear to God.
I swear to you, it's nothing but wood up there, okay?
But the thing is Danielle wants to fuck him so bad.
Oh, she could taste it.
Do you think that, yes, so to speak, do you think that she would actually vote him out of the house?
Yes, because he's given her, yeah, he gave her the hand. He was like, back up.
But they have a final 2 deal, and she told Dan that her and Shane have a final 2 deal.
Well, I'm just telling you, if it came down to it, the only way I could see her not taking Dan over Shane is that she wakes up and realizes Dan's married and go, oh, shucks. When he gets out of the house, he's going to go back to his wife, and at least I can get a chance to get at least a one-night stand with Shane, so I'm going to keep him. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen, because if it were to stay the case, stay the course, I think that she would take Dan. She admires. She's just so enthralled with all of his, worldly charms. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, I completely agree. Let's talk about. We're going to wrap it up, but let's talk about a couple people having breakdowns. We'll stay on Danielle first because she's so easy of a target. Because this girl, when she gets out of the house, and reads how much everyone hates her, I mean,
Yeah,
she's
it's gonna be tough.
She's gonna really need some psychotherapy.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is the one thing I will say, I saw a little light in her game when they told her after the funeral what happened, and she proceeded to continue to act with Britney. I thought, okay, maybe she wants to play in this game. So I think she was doing some extra crying only to kind of convey that she's just so deeply hurt, when in fact she knew what the deal was. So I gave her a gold star for that Oscar moment, or an Oscar or whatever you call it.
I don't know if you saw this or not. On the feeds, she has literally gone back to Dan 3 or 4 times. Not just that one talk that they had, but 3 or 4 times over a span of days saying, you know, how do I know that that wasn't real? And, you know, da-da-da-da-da. And she's like still so insecure and unsure of herself, even after he went immediately and reassured her that it was all bullshit. I think that she's going to read some people, she's going to see some of these Photoshops of people making her fat. You know how they do these Photoshops and stuff, you know, all this stuff of them making her fat, and we might have our first suicide after the fact.
I don't think suicide, but I do know that she had mentioned that she was bulimic at one point, or anorexic. So I don't think maybe suicide. But if that is as brutal as people are with regard to Big Brother and their, you know, our fans, I mean, I was called Labia, so I mean, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, fucked up, aren't they? Yeah, it's only
they called me Labia. I was like, shit, that's pretty good.
I talked to people from after my season. I would talk to these people from. I'm friends with Bridget Marquette. I'm friends with Holly Madison from Girls Next Door. I'm friends with Daisy from Daisy of Love and Rock of Love.
Name dropper.
No, I just know. All I'm saying is these are the shows that were going on at the time that my show was going on. And when I talk to them about these tributes and these hate videos that people make and these Photoshops and everything, they're looking at me like I have 3 heads. I'm like, they don't do that for you guys? They're like, no. And I would go online on my phone and show them. And they
our fans are crazy.
Oh my God. They're out of their fucking mind. That's
the Big Brother fans, they are crazy ass people. They will stalk you, your children.
Yes.
They'll send you hate mail. They will, say all of these things that are can't be further from the truth, because they are so, I guess, invested. They watch you on the live feed. They watch you on Showtime After Dark. They see you 3 times a week.
Yes.
I've had people come up to me and they know my names of my kids, damn near what school they go to. And I'm like, and what's your name? So you do have the obsession with Big Brother like no other show. It doesn't equate to Glass House and all of that other stuff. The only thing I am sad about is that we don't have Big Brother like they do out in, in Britain, or London or whatever, or the UK, where once you get out of that damn show, you got perfume deals lined up and commercials and tons of, you know what I mean?
Famous.
You're famous. That's the shit. I should have signed up over there. You're a celebrity there. Here it's kicking your ass. It's like Boogie said. Here it's kicking your ass out of the car service while it's still rolling. Get on, and we've done with you now. See you later.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. The last thing I want to touch on is we're talking about losing their shit. How did you enjoy Britney's last diary room as much as I did?
Oh, it was hysterical. It was hysterical.
God. I was
and
dying.
you know, the thing is that she always likes to tell people, well, you know, as she does this all fucking day, picking, and goes, well, you know, I left my job. Okay, get in the club.
I left my husband.
I left my husband.
I
quit my job. I left my husband for this. I quit my... Britney, and she's a sweet girl. I actually like her. But, okay, so we all have left things and great loved ones and jobs and all of these for this opportunity. Get in line. I mean, okay,
you're not the only one.
Fucking A. And so that's what kills me. But she, honestly, she went as far as she could go with, you know, telling Blockhead what to do and telling Ian what to do and, you know, kind of, you know, always being a fly on the wall.
I really think she's a terrible player. I don't find her to be a good player at all. She latched on to Lane in season 12, which is the only reason that she was dragged as far as she was, and she was dragged. And she was like another Jerry. She was like another.
Oh,
Sheila.
don't even give me.
Like
don't say his name.
Another Adam, but she was 4th place instead of 3rd place because they already had a 3-person alliance. Actually,
right.
4-person.
But that's what I'm saying. She played as far as she could play. So she did what she could do with what she knew how. I'm not saying that her tactics weren't going to be discovered. Same as Ian. And this Silent Six and the Quack Pack.
What? The only reason that Britney was brought back is because she's a catty bitch and she goes in the diary room and talks shit about people. And, everyone in season 12 thought that she was so funny. And she made her paycheck with the one diary room where she was saying goodbye to Boogie. Bring, bring.
Right.
Oh, Janelle, that thing. All of America saw it and everyone laughed. And the producers of Big Brother said, thank God it's about time. That's the only reason we brought you back, bitch. And it's finally, after, 6-7 weeks in the house, you finally give us one.
Right.
So that was the only reason she was brought back. She wasn't a good player. She was
but that's the thing though. This is what I'm a little perturbed with too. As they go on to the next show, if they're going to bring players back, good versus evil, coaches, I need a resume, people. A coach to me isn't somebody that made it to my motherfucking winner is a coach. Okay, you can't be a coach unless you won this shit. I don't need a coach that half-assed through the game. I need a winner.
You guys you and everybody watching and the millions of other people need to get it in your head that this was not coaches. This season was not, that was a lie. That twist was a lie. It was nothing but to give the 4 returning players a 4-week pass. That's all it was. Britney knew it from the beginning. Janelle knew it from the beginning. They had keys next to their names in the memory wall from the beginning. It was obvious to so many people. And I was pissed when they came back in because I wanted to see a season of coaches, not giving these returning players, 3 of the most arguably best, 3 of some of the best players in Big Brother history, a 4-week 5-eviction pass over these new people that don't even know how to fucking play the game. And most of these people are in there are horrible. The ones that are left, the only players that are left in the house, I'm only going to mention Shane because he can win competitions. He has no strategy, no understanding of the game. Frank is the only real player out of the new people and out of Britney. And then you have, Janelle was all about competitions, and you have Dan and you had Boogie.
And then you got Ian, which his gig came up. Everybody knows, and he is such an aficionado of Big Brother. Yes. He's so well versed. You dipshit, everybody knows once you start playing both sides, when it all hits the fan, it comes out. So
every time.
Okay, buddy, I'm glad you are a factoid of all things Big Brother. Maybe you missed that great big fact.
This is the reason that you saw all of the shit that Dan took last week, taking shit for Ian, protecting Ian. This is one of the things and one of the reasons why I might have played as an asshole, but I played probably one of the most honest games of anybody that has ever won the game. Because I was not a liar. I told the truth. And if that was me and Dan was like protecting me, I would have come right out and told Boogie. Period. Yeah. That way there would have been no bullshit for Dan to hold over my head and to out me with later. The less lies that you tell, the less bullshit you have to cover up, and the less lies you have to tell to cover up the lie. Just like in real life.
Well, and then, for instance, Boogie, he didn't do much to me. I'm sorry. It was always we. Motherfucker, it's not we, it's Frank. You're sitting here going, we need to do this, and we're working at that, and we saving the kid. No, you didn't save shit. You didn't do shit. You know what I mean? You fucking sat around, and Frank did it all. And that's why when
Boogie did nothing but collect as much money as they possibly could while he was in there. And
obviously.
If I was Frank, if I was Frank and Boogie was going for that $10,000, which ended up costing Boogie, hands down, he should have been going for the HOH instead of being a greedy bastard going for the $10,000. And if he was in an alliance with me, when I saw him pouring it into the $10,000, I would have stopped and said, "Hey, motherfucker, what the fuck do you think you're doing?
Are you doing?
My ass is on the block every other goddamn week. You think you can do me a favor and try to win the HOH to keep me off the block this week, bitch?"
And it gets better. Boogie, it gets better. He's like, yeah, in Connecticut, I was the state ice skating champion.
Yeah, that's right.
He's fucking gliding. He's gliding into the fucking 10,000, just juicing it up. But you're the state, ice skating champ. You're fucking Uno, whoever he is, the guy that's the Olympic skater, and you can't help me out with this HOH? I thought that was pretty shitty. And that's why his ass is, like you said, he's sitting out there watching.
Shitty. And it was like, really, it's a totally lopsided alliance. Completely lopsided alliance. So we're gonna leave it on that note. Libra, I want to thank you very much for finally joining me. It was a pleasure talking to you. And we'll have to do this again.
I'm sorry all of my kids interrupted and everything.
No,
so,
it's okay. I have Janelle on. She has Violet on her lap when she's crying, and Jean has Noah on her lap. So, yeah, no worries.
Okay.
It's all good. I understand. You got a life. I will get a hold of you again, and we will do this again before the end of the season. And I'll get you on.
Okay, but you didn't ask me the big question. Would I go back in?
I didn't know that was the big question. Would you go back in?
Yep, I would. And guess what? My kids would watch and root along the whole way. And any motherfucker that has something to say with it, come pay my light bills and all these bills over here, and we can talk.
They would bring the cameras over to your house, and your kids would have the Go Moms, signs and banners as they show them clips and stuff, for sure, without a doubt. So I want to thank you again, and we will do this again probably in the next 2 weeks or so. 2 weeks-ish.
Thanks, Dick. It was a pleasure. Peace out, peeps.
Peace out. Thanks, man.
Bye.
Bye.